What's up guys, it's making you another Duelist Link Evolution. Today guys, we're giving you a Neo Spacian mixed with a Heroes because it fulfills the requirements someone asked for a Neo Spacian deck and also kind of fulfills the hero decks that you guys wanting as well. The reason why I merged both of them together is because Neo Spacians require heroes. Because obviously, if you've seen the anime, Jaden plays both of them together, and Neo Spacians require elemental hero Neos, and obviously Neos is a elemental hero. So it just makes sense to merge them too. I use a multiple of different deck ideas or people's deck ideas and merge them all into one. So hopefully this is kind of like the best of both worlds for everyone, for heroes and for Neo Spacians. This deck is of course my own opinion at the end of the day, and it's completely cool if you disagree with any of the cards shown in the video. And like I say guys, I am requesting a new deck request list because mine got erased via a virus, so we're doing Neo Spacian one now. So if you have any of them, send me it and I will add it to my list. Here are the other ones that are. And if you're struggling to make this deck or any deck shown so far, check out the card hub. Not only if it tells you card is in this game or not, it will also tell you where to find it, such as campaign, challenge mode, or card pack that does include the new cards added via the update and that's in my description down below, along with my Twitch and my Discord, where on my Twitch I do try and stream this game and other games as best I can on days where I'm free, which at the moment is kind of hard because of work and because of a lot of like quizzes and stuff I'm doing. So there is that, and also on my days off I am going to try and stream some speed running on Link Evolution. And with that guys, let's get into the video. Starting us off guys, is 2 copies of Elemental Hero Neos is vital because all of our fusions near enough require Neos in its name. That's the only reason you're running him. He's sendable to the graveyard with Neos fusion. You can put him back into the deck with Miracle Contact, and you can resurrect him via Keeper of Dragon Magic's effect. 2 copies of Ash Blossom Joy Springs. The last thing you want to do is get hand traps, but you need to play hand traps sometimes. This one, should your opponent add a card from the deck to the hand, special summon from the deck, or just send a card from the deck to the grave, Ash Blossom just shuts it down. It's fantastic because if your opponent's trying to use plays like cards to start their plays, not going to happen. You can just interrupt them and it's just great. Then onto some hero cards, guys. We are running Elemental Hero Liquid Soldier. This guy is actually great this guy is actually good if you normal summon it or if you use it for fusion material. Now, regardless, this card is never dead. Because if this card is normal summoned, you can target a level 4 or lower hero monster in your grave and special summon it. So if you do it that way, you can link the 2 monsters that you special summon into Verte Anaconda. Then you can still do a fusion play. And if you use Liquid Soldier for a fusion summon, you can draw 2 cards and then you have to discard 1. So please bear that in mind. 2 copies of Elemental Hero Shadow Mist. If this well, we don't have its special summon effect because we're not running a change in the deck. But if this card is sent to the graveyard, no matter how, so if you send it with Neo's Fusion, with Vision Hero Viron's effect, or if you link summon with it, you can add a hero monster from your deck to your hand, which is a really nice one. It's only once per turn, so please bear that in mind, but it's such a great card, Shadow Mist. 3 copies of Keeper of Dragon Magic. The reason we're running Keeper is because when this card is normal or special summoned, you can discard a card. So again, if you discard a Shadow Mist, its effect's going to activate, and you get to add a Polymerization or a Fusion card from your deck to the hand. So because we're running Neo's Fusion, you can add that to your hand. Because we're running Miracle Fusion, you could add that to your hand. You see what I mean, guys? Absolute great. And also it has an effect where you can special summon, where you can reveal one of your fusion monsters in your extra deck and special summon one of its materials from the graveyard. So you can resurrect Neos. The only downside is it does lock you into only using fusions for the rest of the turn if you do use Keeper's ability. 2 copies of Neo Space Conductor. What a card, guys. If this card is normal summoned, you get special summon a Neo Spacian or Neos from your hand or deck. Realistically, you're going to special summon a Neo Spacian, most probably Aqua Dolphin, because Aqua Dolphin has a fantastic effect. And then after you use that monster's effect that you special summoned, we can just link them both away into Verte Anaconda and get a free fusion out. All because of just one normal summon. Absolute fantastic. Then on some Neo Spacians, we are running one copy of a Hummingbird. If this card is special, or if this card's on the field, you gain 500 life points for each card in your opponent's hand, which is actually great because again, if you haven't got a good card or if you don't want to discard anything for Aqua Dolphin's effect, you can just special summon a Hummingbird from Conductor's effect and just gain life points, then link away to Verta Anaconda. You can do a lot of stuff. With Aqua Dolphin, you can discard one card, look at your opponent's hand, and choose a monster. If you control a monster with attack greater than or equal to the attack of the chosen monster, you can destroy and inflict 500 points of damage. And the reason why this card is great is because you get to look at your opponent's hand, which is always vital because you get to see what your opponents are running, you get to see what cards they've got so you can play around. But the best part is, because you've got Neo Spacian Aqua Dolphin, which has 600 attack, all hand traps near enough have 0 attack points, so you can just rip a hand trap out of your opponent's hand, which is absolutely insane. Then they take 500 points of damage. If they don't have a monster that you can discard, then discard really, because obviously the attack point thing, then you lose 500 life points. So please bear that in mind. Then Neo Spacian Dark Panther, and the reason why I'm running this is because we're running some certain fusions. You could just send it to the graveyard no matter how ways, so then it's out of your deck if you want, because it's not actually the best Neo Spacian, it's just there for the fusion plays. But you can target one face-up monster your opponent controls into the end phase, and he basically copies that monster's effect and name pretty much. Then Flare Scarab, he gains 400 attack points for each spell or trap your opponent controls, again vital for certain plays such as Magna Neos. And then 2 copies of Neo Spacian Grand Mole, one of the best Neo Spacians, guys, because at the start of the damage step, if this card battles an opponent's monster, that does include if your opponent battles attacks into it, I believe, you can return both the opponent's monster and this card to the hand. So a little trick, guys, is to combine Grand Mole with the Interdimensional Kaiju. So we're using the Dark attribute in Interdimensional Kaiju because we are running Super Polymerization. So what's this card do? So a Kaiju is, you can special summon it from your hand by attributing an opponent's monster that they have. So a tricky card if they're running like Chaos Max, if they're running Evil Hero Malicious Bane, I don't know, Link Karibo, because that thing's bloody annoying sometimes. You see what I mean? Like, just pesky cards that are really annoying to get over. You can just tribute it, summon out this, or like in Cyber Dragon Infinity, summon out the Kaiju. Then you could just play Grand Mole attack into the Kaiju and just return both to the hand. Then that way you've got your Kaiju back in your hand for the next time you want to do it. Absolutely fantastic. 1 copy of Rainbow Dragon, because again, we are running Rainbow Neos. You send it to the graveyard with Neos Fusion. You realistically do not want to draw into Rainbow Neos, because obviously it's going to be like, it's kind of like a Garnet. You don't want to see it, but it's vital for your plays. But even if it's in your hand, you can still play Polymerization or Neos Fusion to summon out Rainbow Neo. So it's not dead, but it's not great in your hand. And then finally, to round up the monsters, 2 copies of Vision Hero Viron. He's actually a great to go into for normal summon like turn 1. So turn 1, you've got 2 plays, either a Viron or a Conductor. So for Viron, if this card is normal or special summoned, you can send 1 hero from your deck to the graveyard. So you just send the Shadow Mist to search out Liquid Soldier. And then he also has another ability where you can banish a hero to add Polymerization from your hands. So from just this 1 card, send the Shadow Mist, add Liquid Soldier, banish the Mist, add Polymerization, play Polymerization, go into Sunrise, boom. Just from that, you have now played Liquid Soldier's effect, so you draw 2 cards, discard 1. Because you're going to go into Sunrise, you get to add the Miracle Fusion, so you can go into another hero play, and all that extends from just normal summoning Viron. Absolutely fantastic card. And also you can play both of his effects each once per turn, which is great. Going on to the magic cards, guys, we're running 2 copies of Convert Contacts. This is like a draw card. So if you control no monsters, so if you're going first, like over this card's in your hand, you can send 2 Neo Spacians, 1 from your hand and 1 from your graveyard. Or 1 from your hand and 1 from your deck, sorry, to draw 2 cards. So again, if you've got a dead Air Hummingbird, you've got a dead Flare Scarab or something, or even Black Panther, you could just send him to the graveyard and just send another one, most probably think about which one you want to play, because obviously if you get a Miracle Contact, so maybe you want to send Flare Scarrow Grand Mole, so you can go into Magna Neo. So you could send the Black Panther, and I think there's another one. I think it's Black Panther and Grand Mole to go into another one. I think that's Nebula. But, which one is Nebula, actually? Yeah, Nebula. So you can, let's see, you can just send Black Panther or Grand Mole, so then that way you can, you're ready for the Nebula Neo. So then you get to draw 2 free cards, or 2 cards, which is actually nice. It just replaces the cards that you discard for something decent. Then 2 copies of Miracle Contact. This is like Miracle Fusion, but for Neo-Spacian. So you shuffle into the deck from your hand, field, or graveyard the fusion materials to summon an elemental hero fusion monster that lists as Neos, which is near enough all of them. So with this, you can go into like Grand Neos, Magna Neos, Nebula Neos, Air Neos, Brave Neos, Rainbow Neos. You can send a lot of stuff, so it's absolutely great. And again, because it's sending them back into the deck, if you've got a Neos Fusion, you can just send them back to the graveyard whenever you want to. 1 copy of Miracle Fusion. It is searchable with Sunrise special ability. You can fusion summon a elemental hero or elemental hero fusion monster using cards from your graveyard by banishing them. So it's just there for a combo extender. Like again, you go into Viron, summon out the Sunrise, search it, play, banish the 2 cards, so you can go into Absolute Zero, so then you can nuke the field, should anything happen. See what I mean? The plays are endless. Then 3 copies of Neos Fusion. This is a great, guys, because this card is never, ever, ever dead in your hand. So it's kind of like a Red Eyes Fusion, which was Red Eyes Fusion. If you didn't normal or special summon, you can fuse summon monsters, sending monsters from your deck to the graveyard. However, Neos Fusion is better because it's like a Verte Anaconda, where you can send cards from your deck to the graveyard, but it locks you out of special summoning for the rest of the turn. So even if you could do all your plays like with the Viron, special summon 2 monsters, or you can do the Conductor play if you want to. Then you can play Neos Fusion and get out like a Rainbow Neos or Brave Neos. You can do whatever you want. And also it has an effect where should a fusion monster that you control that lists as Neos as one of its materials would be destroyed by battle by a card effect, you can banish this card from your graveyard and prevent its destruction. So it even gives your fusion monsters some form of protection. And then we're running 1 copy of the original Polymerization, searchable with Viron and searchable with Keeper, and then literally it's just there just to help you with the fusion plays, like just start off your combo like going to Sunrise. And then running 1 reinforcement of the army, searches out all of our monsters, like searches out Viron, searches out Conductor, you can search out the Mist, you can search out the Liquid Soldier, all the possibilities are endless really. Then 2 copies of Super Polymerization. We are running Verte Anaconda, so because Verte Anaconda is a dark attribute, Verte Anaconda has an effect to target 1 monster your opponent controls, make it a dark attribute. You can just send Super Polymerization, send to the graveyard. Because you're using the Dark Kaiju, you can play Super Polymerization, do a play that way. There's many things you can do. It's there to help you go just get over pesky cards, and you can go into like Starving Venom and Dragos Tepelia. Then 1 copy of Upstart Goblin. The reason I've added this card in, guys, is because Ash Blossom's limited to 2. Otherwise, I'd run like 3 Ash Blossoms or something else. So it just makes the deck a 39 card deck. Drawing that 1 card can be vital, and that's the only reason I'm running Upstart Goblin. 3 copies of Infinite Impermanence. This is a hand trap in itself, guys, where if you control no cards, you can activate this card from your hand. And its effect is you can target 1 face-up monster your opponent controls, negate its effect, and effects until the end phase. Also, if this card was set, so if you didn't play its hand trap effect, you just set it, cards in its column are also negated, so it really comes in handy. And then finally, we'll run 1 last trap, and that is Next, where you can special summon any number of monsters with different names from your hand or graveyard in defense mode that are all Neo-Spacians or Elemental Hero Neos. So with just this 1 trap card, if you like, say you've set up your graveyard because of your fusion plays or because you've sent it with Neos Fusion, wherever, then the next time you've got Next, you could just you can resurrect the key cards you want, then you just shuffle them all back into the deck for a Contact Fusion and go into the whatever Neos card you want. And that's it for the deck, guys. Going on to the extra deck. We are running one copy of Absolute Zero. It's any hero monster plus a water attribute. I normally do this with Miracle Fusion because with Sunrise you search out the Miracle Fusion, and then because you've used Liquid Soldier, which is a water attribute, that counts as it. It's just easier to just go into Sunrise and then Absolute Zero. And it has an effect where if this card leaves the field, so doesn't matter how, if you link away with him, if he's destroyed, if he's compulsed back or something like that, as long as he leaves the field, you destroy all monsters your opponent controls. It's like a monster form of Regeki. Going on to some others, we are running Elemental Hero Air Neo, so it's Air Hummingbird plus Neos. This card is actually one of the best cards in this deck, because if you use Verte Anaconda's effect for Neos Fusion, you have to pay 2,000 life points. So 9 times out of 10, you will have lower life points than your opponent. So it basically makes Neos really strong. So this card gains attack points equal to the difference in life points between you and your opponent. So if the difference between, so if you played turn 1, like, obviously, say it's turn 2, but it's actually your first turn. If you played Verte Anaconda to play Neos Fusion, you're going to be 2,000 life points lower than your opponent. Air Neos is now have 4,500 attack points. Absolute fantastic. So it just works so well, and it just gets over so many powerful monsters that your opponent should have. Like, for instance, like Chaos Max can only be destroyed by battle. Air Neos gets over that, no problem. And the only downside is, with certain ones that have Neos in their name, like Air Neos, they are returned to the extra deck during the turn's end phase, but Neos Fusion kind of prevents that from happening, so you can use that effect. Then 2 copies of Brave Neos, one of the best ones. He gains 100 attack points of each Neospatian and hero in the graveyard. And when this card destroys an opponent's monster by battle, you can add a spell or trap from your deck that specifically lists Elemental Hero Neo. So this one card searches out Neos Fusion. Pretty much, absolute great. And because it's a level 4 or lower effect monster, all of our monsters work for it. Keeper, Shadow Mist, Liquid, all of your Neospatians, all of them, near enough work for Brave Neos. Then Cosmo Neos, this is one realistically you're going to send with Miracle Contact. I believe you can play this with Neos Fusion. No, I think you can't play this with Neos Fusion because I think that's specific. Yeah, that exactly lists material. So yeah, you can't play this with Neos Fusion, but you can play it with Miracle Contact, where you need Neos and 3 Neospatians with different attributes. So basically 3 different Neospatians, really. If this card is special, your opponent cannot activate card effects. Also, your opponent cannot control. Also, cards your opponent controls cannot activate their card effects. Your opponent cannot activate card effects in response to this card activation. And once per turn during the end phase, shuffle this card into the extra deck. And if you do, destroy all cards your opponent controls. So Cosmo Neos, like I say, you summon him, your opponent literally can't do anything. They just have to accept their fate for the turn. And then when you're bouncing back, if you don't want to use the Neos Fusion's like effect to protect it, yep, you're just going to nuke their field, which is great. Grand Neos, I love Grand Neos, guys. It's Neos plus a Neospatian Grand Mole. You can search it with Neos Fusion, or you can send it with Neos Fusion, or the Miracle Contact. Absolute great cards. You can target one face-up monster your opponent controls, return it to the hand. So with just this one card, this card is like Unicorn. Instead of you don't need to discard a card, and you can use it once per turn. Again, it has the effect where you have to shuffle it into the deck during the end phase. Then we have Magna Neos, which is Neos, Flare Scarab, and Grand Mole. So you can still send this with Neos Fusion, summon this card. I believe this card gains 400 attack points for each card on the field, which is just great. And it also has effects where if this card is sent back to the extra deck, obviously during the end phase, you return all cards on the field to the hand. So yep, just even better. But this card is just great for gaining a lot more attack points because of its effect. It just gains a lot more. Neos, Nebula Neos, sorry. If this card is special from this deck, you draw cards equal to the number of cards your opponent controls. Then negate the effects of one face-up monster or one face-up card on the field until the end phase. So not only do you draw, you also can negate a card. And again, if this card is shuffled into the extra deck, you can banish all cards on the field face down. Again, just wipes the field. Then Elemental Hero Sunrise, great card, guys. You need 2 heroes with different attributes. That's why Viron and Liquid Soldier can make this card so easily. Or yeah, Viron makes it so easy because those are the 2 different attributes. When this card is special summoned, you get to add a Miracle Fusion to your hand, so you can go into another combo extender. And when a monster involving a hero, when an attack is declared involving a hero monster, so if your opponent attacks into a hero, or if a hero declares an attack, you can destroy 1 card on the field. You can play both effects in a single turn. Also, all monsters you control gain 200 attack for each different attribute on the field. So the more you summon with different attributes, the stronger your opponent's going to be. 1 copy of Mudguard of the Swamp. This is a super poly target, guys, because it needs 2 monsters with different attributes. So with Starving Venom and Dragospelia, it's locked into Dark attribute. Mudguard Dragon doesn't give a crap. You can just nick any monster with any monster your opponent has, super poly them away, and just get rid of your opponent's pesky cards. Predaplant Dragospelia, you need a fusion monster. Obviously, we're running load of fusion monsters, plus a dark attribute. Dragospelia acts as the dark attribute, or he can act as the fusion monster. Oh no, actually no, he can't, because obviously you're going to. Never mind. Just forget what I'm saying. Dragospelia, I say, is you need a dark attribute. Obviously, Vertanaconda can act as the dark, or Shadow Mist Viron, or if your opponent has a dark, great. But if you have a fusion, absolute great, because then you can just nick him, or if your opponent has a fusion, steal him that way. Absolute great to go into Dragospelia. He is literally a monster form of infinite impermanence. So you get once per turn, quick effect during your opponent's turn as well. You can play this. You can target 1 face-up monster on the field, give it a predator counter. As long as it has a predator counter, it cannot activate its special abilities. 1 copy of Rainbow Neo, so you need Neos plus Rainbow Dragon. Because it has Neos in its name, you can send it to the graveyard with Neos Fusion. It has effects based on what you want to do. So you can send 1 monster you control to the graveyard, shuffle all monsters your opponent controls into the deck. You send a spell or trap, you shuffle all spell and traps your opponent controls into the deck. You send the top card of your deck to the grave, shuffle your opponent's graveyard into the deck. Absolute great, Rainbow Neos. Fantastic card. Then 1 copy of Starving Venom Fusion Dragon, another super poly target. Absolute great because it's 2 dark monsters. Dark is the most common of attribute in the game, and when this card is fusion summoned, you can make this card gain attack equal to 1 special monster your opponent controls until the end phase. Also, during your turn, Starving Venom can target 1 level 5 or higher monster your opponent controls, and he gains that monster's effect and name. And also, if this card is sent to the graveyard, he nukes all special summon monsters your opponent controls. Going on to 2 links, guys, we are running is Stoll, 2 Tales of Noble Knights. You can't play Stoll's second ability where you can send equip cards to the grave special summon a warrior. We don't use that. The reason you play Stoll is because when it's link summoned, you can add a warrior from your deck to your hand. You can't activate that monster's effect, please bear that in mind, you can't summon it, but the reason why you're going to play it is because it makes it easier for polymerization and for like Neo's Fusion, that kind of thing. It just makes it a little bit easier, and if you can hold off to your next turn, then you can just summon it and go boom. It's just there to search out a warrior. You can take it out if you really want, but I just put it in there just to search out a warrior. And then finally, 1 copy of Verte Anaconda, the best link if you're going to go into a link, because this bad boy has 2 effects. First effect, you can target 1 face-up monster in the field, make it a dark attribute, so that you can target 1 face-up monster your opponent controls, make it dark. Play Verte Anaconda's second ability, where it is you pay 2,000 life points, see, great with Air Neos. Then you can send 1 fusion or polymerization card to the graveyard and play that spell, basically. So if you send super polymerization, you can nick 2 cards your opponent has, go into Starving Venom, or even Verte Anaconda itself to go into Starving Venom. You can send Neo's Fusion, obviously, then to send might go into like Rainbow Neos and all the ones that say Neos. You can send Miracle Fusion to use your monsters in your graveyard and go into a fusion play. The only one you can't send is Miracle Contacts. It doesn't have the word fusion in its name, unfortunately. You can even send the original polymerization to go into a fusion play if you want. The only downside is with Verte Anaconda, like Neo's Fusion, if you play it, it locks you out of special summoning for the rest of the turn. So please be mindful if you're going to play Verte Anaconda's ability. And that's it for the deck, guys. This is actually more fun than you actually realise. It's because you actually feel like you're Jaden playing Neo-Spacians and heroes all in one deck. Oh my god, it's fantastic. I do hope we've done him proud, and I do hope you enjoyed this deck. If you did, hit that thumbs up. Makes me see if you enjoy this deck, and it makes the channel grow. The next request, guys, like if you saw the beginning of the video, is I think it was a Aroma Mage deck, which is going to be a bit tricky, but I'll give it a go. So please look forward to that. And with that, guys, I have one replay because it went on for about half an hour. But you saw how this deck plays. You saw near enough everything. So I decided to just include that. I have sped it up so it doesn't take that long. But you can just see how it runs. It is one very long duel. So I do hope you enjoy it. And with that, guys, wherever you are in the world, please remember it's vital to stay healthy and to stay safe. Take care. Goodbye.
trouble, never looking too hard. Well, back at class, they never taught us this. Some things you gotta learn, hit and miss. Tough times, hard climbs, we'll take them on together. Right now, let's go! Yu-Gi-Oh! GX, Generation X. Game on, yes, game on. Come on, you better play your cards right. Game on, yes, game on. We'll make the grade and win this fight. Game on, yes, game on. Come on, you better play your cards right. Game on, yes, game on. We'll make the grade and win this fight. We'll make the grade somehow. Yeah! Chilling out with the crew in the schoolyard, finding trouble, never looking too hard. Well, back at class, they never taught us this. Some things you gotta learn, hit and miss. Tough times, hard climbs, we'll take them on together. Right now, let's go! Yu-Gi-Oh! GX, Generation X. Game on, yes, game on. Come on, you better play your cards right. Game on, yes, game on. We'll make the grade and win this fight. We'll make the grade somehow. Yeah! Yu-Gi-Oh! GX. Game on, yes, game on. Come on, you better play your cards right. Come on and get your game on. 忘れないよ初めての夢追い続けて Keep holding on 手が届かなくて諦めかけてた Broken dreams 置き去りの約束胸に刺さったまま抜けない Getting